Well, good morning everyone, and what a typical Queensland day. Hot, sweaty and steamy. And as I look down over the audience, I can only envy you the fact that you don't have to wear a suit coat like those of us up here do. Can I firstly acknowledge, of course, the guests here on the stage, Wayne Swan, the Federal Treasurer, just back from the icy climes of Europe, Greg Harper from the Rotary Club, who have now hosted this. I think this is the fifth occasion that this has been hosted. Jasper Newman from the department, and Councillor David McLaughlin, who certainly puts this together with the Rotary Club to make sure it all happens. And it's good to see them all here today. Can I also welcome, most importantly, the people who are going to be new citizens of Australia, the conferees, as I think they're called in official terms, but the new citizens of Australia and their families. Welcome to the Hamilton Town Hall. It's great to see you here. It's great to see you taking your citizenship pledge here in your local community. Because today is the day that we celebrate Australia's coming into being. And as you drive around the streets, you'll see a new addition to cars. That's the flags hanging out of the windows. I don't know if you've seen all those. So a new addition to Australia Day. But today is also Chinese New Year, and it's the beginning of the Year of the Ox. And Wayne was talking about how Australia accepts so many different cultures and how people from all over the world come here and are accepted into our broad community. And last night, David and I were both at the Chinese New Year celebrations held down at Wooloowin. And people from all over the community came down to George Murray's shop there in Lisson Grove and celebrated the Chinese New Year. Probably about 2,000 people came down. And if ever there is a sign of the acceptance and the intermingling of cultures, it was the Chinese New Year celebration down at Lisson Grove last night. A tremendous experience, enjoyed by everyone, no troubles, and everyone saying what a great thing it is that Australians can all get together on the eve of Australia Day to celebrate a Chinese custom, the Year of the Ox. I want to pay my respects to the new citizens who are about to take the pledge here, because today you commit yourself to a country other than the country of your birth. And I think for those of us who don't do that, who haven't had to do that, that is a significant step. And Wayne said it's the final step, and in some respects it's the final step of the decision-making process. But for me it's the first step. It's the first step of really enjoying and being part of the Australian community and the Australian society, because after you take that pledge, you take on obligations and you enjoy the rights that Australia confers on you. You become part of the great sort of rule of law that has governed Australia for 200 years and its traditions going back over 1,000 years. You become part of our wider society. You have the obligation to serve on juries. You have the obligation to vote. But you also enjoy the benefits and the protections and the freedoms that Australia offers you. The right to free speech, the right of free assembly, the right to go about your business without interference by the state at whatever level. And these are great rights. These are rights and privileges that have been fought for through the ages and are still being fought for in some countries today. But here in Australia, those rights we take for granted, and all new citizens will enjoy those rights in full measure. You also have the obligation to participate, and there are the obligations that I mentioned, if you like, the formal ones about having to vote and perhaps having to answer the call to go to jury service and to do other things. But there's also, I think, the community obligation to participate, and today's ceremony is being hosted by Rotary. And Rotary is a community organisation that comes together to help and assist people in the community. And there are many other organisations that rely on volunteers, that people who really do have the full measure of citizenship, who say, what can I put back into the community? What more can I do to the community? And I think even elected representatives look at what they can do for their community. And that is an important part of it. So it's not just the ones that are written about and that you hear about and see in the documents. It's also the full measure of community engagement, participation and taking part in community organisations, whether that's at a local church, whether that's at a scout den, whether that's, as I was this morning, at a historical society, to participate in forming a closer community and a better community. And that really comes to then the spirit of what it is to be Australian. And again, Mr. Swan referred to what we need to do. We all need to come together and pull together, and we are in tough times. No one doubts that. There are great uncertainties facing us in economic times. But the things that pull us together are the things that will see us through. And in Australia, we tend to call that mateship. and that is the mateship of coming together, of working together, and of seeing it through together. And whether it's in times of strife and trouble, whether it's on the Kokoda Trail, or whether it's working together to make sure communities are protected from the ravages of what's occurring in the global economic sense, that is the spirit of Australia, the spirit of mateship, and it means so many things to so many people. So, as we come together on Australia Day and on the beginning of the year of the Ox in the Chinese lunar calendar, can I ask you all to consider how you can contribute in full measure to Australian citizenship, how you can work together to form a better community, how you can be part of that spirit of mateship, and how we can all work together to make a better Australia and a better Queensland. And I encourage you, most of all, to enjoy your citizenship.